Hello everybody, this is an exercise in negative painting. It's fairly technical, might look a bit daunting, but it's fairly straightforward if you have patience and take one step at a time. So let's get started. I've masked the edges of the mushroom and I'm wetting the whole background with clean water. And here I'm applying a first layer of the green paint for the background. Everything after this will be just building up the intensity of colour, but this is the lightest areas. As you can see, I'm not bothering to create the smooth wash, and I'm also starting to think about the shadow areas, the shadow cast by the mushroom onto the background. The area at the top is painted with a cooler green to move it further back in the image. So now I've masked out one layer of blades of grass, and I should apologise actually, because that was probably quite an important step and I should have shown me doing that. Just using a thin, very thin bristle brush with my usual masking fluid. And here I'm creating depth by painting what will end up behind the front blades of grass. As you can see, I'm also painting individual blades of grass in the same colour. Here I'm removing the masking fluid, being careful not to affect the edges of the actual mushroom. So this is just the grass, the masking for the grass, which I'm removing. And here I've added another layer of green paint to the foreground and a little bit of glazing of green onto the background, and again filling in the shadows under the mushroom, and with a smaller brush starting to create a few details and textures. And here I've added a first layer of masking to the grass at the front, which you can see appearing as I paint more depth into it. I've now added another layer of masked grass, just painting over what was already there with the masking fluid, and starting to build up even deeper colours. The further in things go, the less light reaches them. So that's the thinking behind this. just keep building up darker and darker. I'm also trying to imagine sort of leaf shapes which I'm leaving in the background. And yet more masking of grass, and now painting in that shape there, which I'm thinking is an autumn leaf, as the grass has grown over it. And just continuing to add depth, occasionally spraying with a little bit of water just to soften things. Also painting blades of grass, and continuing to add texture to the little plants which are in there as well. I'm adding a touch of brown here and there just to imply more autumn leaves in there somewhere. And here I've removed all the masking, including for the mushroom, but still just building up the texture in the plants. And finally time to paint the mushroom. I've pre-mixed 3 yellow colours, a base yellow, and then a warm shadow, having added some alizarin crimson, and also a cooler shadow. The front edge of the mushroom picks up some of the green from the grass around it, so the shadow is not quite the same colour as the internal shadow. This bit was a little tricky, just getting the stalk to sit nicely in the background, appear to be behind the blades of grass. And the final step is to add some lighter blades of grass at the very front, just filling in areas using the main green colour which I've been using. And here's the final image. If you've got this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a like. Thanks very much. We'll see you in the next one.